When Madonna's car got stuck in Times Square traffic in 2003, she noticed something extraordinary through her tinted window. A teenage girl dancing with such fierce determination that crowds had stopped to watch. What happened next changed that street performer's life and proved that sometimes destiny happens in the most unexpected places. It was August 23, 2003, a sweltering Saturday afternoon in New York City. Times Square was packed with tourists, street performers, and the usual chaos of Manhattan in summer. Among the crowd was 14-year-old Jasmine Rodriguez, a Bronx native who had been coming to Times Square every weekend for 6 months, dancing for tips to help her single mother pay the rent. Jasmine didn't know that sitting in traffic just 50 feet away, Madonna was watching her through the window of a black SUV. And she certainly didn't know that this moment would transform her from a struggling street kid into one of the most sought-after choreographers in the entertainment industry. Jasmine Rodriguez had grown up in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment in the South Bronx with her mother Maria and 2 younger brothers. Her father had left when she was 7, and her mother worked double shifts as a home health aide just to keep food on the table. But Jasmine had a gift. From the time she could walk, she moved with a natural grace and rhythm that made people stop and stare. She would watch music videos on their old television set, memorizing every move, every gesture, every expression. Madonna was her idol. The way she commanded the stage, the precision of her choreography, the fierce confidence in every movement. "Mommy, one day I'm going to dance like Madonna," Jasmine would tell her mother while practicing moves in their narrow hallway. Maria would smile sadly, knowing that professional dance training cost money they didn't have. The local community center offered some free classes, but they were overcrowded and basic. Real training, the kind that could lead to a professional career, required private lessons, expensive studios, and opportunities that seemed impossibly out of reach. When Jasmine turned 14, she made a decision. If she couldn't afford training, she would create her own. Every morning before school, she would practice for an hour in front of the bathroom mirror. After school, she would study videos at the public library, breaking down choreography frame by frame. And on weekends, she would take the subway to Times Square to perform. The street corner became her stage. The cardboard box where tourists tossed coins became her payment. It wasn't much, maybe $40 or $50 on a good day, but every dollar helped her mother, and every performance was practice for the career she was determined to have. On that August afternoon, Jasmine was performing a routine she had choreographed herself, inspired by Madonna's Vogue video. She had set up her small boombox on the sidewalk, positioned herself in the center of a cleared space, and was dancing with every ounce of energy she possessed. What made Jasmine different from other street performers wasn't just her technical skill, though that was impressive for a self-taught 14-year-old. It was her complete commitment to every movement. She didn't dance like someone hoping for tips. She danced like someone performing at Madison Square Garden. Tourists gathered around, phones out, filming this fierce young girl who moved with professional precision. She hit every beat, every pose, every transition with the kind of intensity that made it impossible to look away. Traffic on 7th Avenue had slowed to a crawl, a typical Saturday afternoon in Times Square. In one of the stopped vehicles, a black Cadillac Escalade with tinted windows, Madonna sat in the back seat, trying to get to a meeting with her record label. She was annoyed by the traffic delay until she heard music and noticed the crowd gathered on the sidewalk. Through her window, she could see a young girl dancing, and what she saw made her tell her driver to pull over. Jasmine was in the middle of her routine, executing a complex series of spins and poses, when she noticed the crowd had gotten even larger. People were pointing at something behind her, whispering excitedly. She turned around and froze. Standing at the edge of the crowd, wearing sunglasses and a simple jacket, was Madonna. For a moment, Jasmine couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process what she was seeing. The woman she had idolized her entire life, whose moves she had studied for countless hours, whose career she dreamed of emulating, was standing right there, watching her dance. Madonna walked forward, removing her sunglasses. "Don't stop," she said, her voice carrying clearly despite the street noise. "Finish your routine." Jasmine's hands were shaking, but something in Madonna's voice, firm but encouraging, made her turn back to face the crowd. The music was still playing. The beat was still going, and Madonna was watching. She took a breath and continued dancing, but something had shifted. She was no longer performing for tourists and their tip money. She was performing for Madonna, and she danced like her life depended on it. When the routine ended, the crowd erupted in applause. Jasmine stood there, chest heaving, sweat dripping down her face, not quite believing what was happening. Madonna walked up to her and did something that no one in the crowd expected. She started dancing with her. What happened next became one of the most talked about viral moments of 2003, years before going viral was even a common phrase. Madonna, one of the most famous performers in the world, began teaching Jasmine choreography right there on the street corner. She showed her adjustments to her posture, demonstrated how to make movements sharper and more precise, coached her on facial expressions and energy. But more importantly, she danced alongside her, not as a superstar condescending to perform with a street kid, but as one dancer connecting with another. They moved through combinations together, Madonna leading and Jasmine following with remarkable quickness. The crowd grew larger. People recognized Madonna now, and phones were everywhere, capturing every second. But Madonna seemed oblivious to the cameras, focused entirely on the young dancer in front of her. "You're good," Madonna told Jasmine after several minutes of dancing together. "Really good. But you know what makes the difference between good and great?" Jasmine shook her head, too overwhelmed to speak. "Confidence. You have the skill, but you're still dancing like you're asking permission to be here. Own your space, own your movement. Dance like you know you belong on that stage." Then Madonna asked the question that would change everything. "What's your name, and why are you dancing on the street instead of training somewhere?" Jasmine explained her situation, her single mother, the financial struggles, the lack of access to professional training. She talked about practicing in her bathroom, studying videos at the library, coming to Times Square to earn money, while also treating it as her personal rehearsal space. Madonna listened intently, asking questions about her training regimen, her goals, her understanding of dance technique. The more they talked, the more impressed Madonna became. This wasn't just a talented kid. This was someone with the discipline and work ethic of a professional, self-teaching herself to a level that typically required years of expensive instruction. "You remind me of myself at your age," Madonna said quietly. "Hungry, determined, willing to work harder than everyone else because you had to." She pulled out her phone and made a call right there on the street. Jasmine couldn't hear the other side of the conversation, but she heard Madonna say things like exceptional raw talent, self-taught, and "I want her in your program immediately." When she hung up, Madonna looked at Jasmine with an expression that was both serious and kind. "I'm going to make you a deal," she said. "I'm going to arrange for you to receive professional dance training, the kind of training that will prepare you for a real career. But you have to promise me something in return." "Anything," Jasmine whispered. "Promise me that when you make it, and you will make it, you'll remember where you came from. Promise me you'll look for other kids like you, talented kids who don't have the resources, and you'll give them the opportunities that I'm giving you now." Jasmine nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I promise." Within a week, Jasmine Rodriguez's life had completely changed. Madonna had arranged full scholarship training at the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater's School, one of the most prestigious dance institutions in the country. She had also established a fund to provide financial support for Jasmine's family, so her mother wouldn't have to work double shifts. But Madonna's involvement didn't end with writing checks. She became a mentor, checking in regularly on Jasmine's progress, attending her student performances, offering guidance and encouragement. When Jasmine struggled with the intense demands of professional training, Madonna would remind her of their conversation on the Times Square street corner. "Own your space, own your movement." Jasmine threw herself into training with the same fierce determination she had shown as a street performer. She was often the first to arrive at the studio and the last to leave. Her teachers recognized immediately that they were working with someone special, not just talented, but possessing the rare combination of natural ability and relentless work ethic. By the time Jasmine was 16, she was assisting with choreography for student productions. By 18, she was dancing professionally. By 21, she was choreographing for music videos and live performances. In 2010, 7 years after their encounter in Times Square, Jasmine received a call that made her cry. Madonna wanted her to choreograph a segment of her upcoming Sticky and Sweet tour. Jasmine was 21 years old and would be choreographing for the artist who had inspired her entire career, the woman who had literally changed her life on a street corner 7 years earlier. The first day of rehearsals, Madonna pulled Jasmine aside. "Do you remember what I made you promise me that day in Times Square?" Jasmine nodded. "To remember where I came from and help other kids like me." "Good," Madonna smiled, "because I've got some ideas about that." Together they established the Street Dreams Dance Foundation, a non-profit organization providing free professional dance training to talented youth from low-income communities. The foundation operated on a simple principle: talent exists everywhere, but opportunity doesn't. Their mission was to find the Jasmines of the world, kids with extraordinary ability but no access to training, and give them the resources to develop their gifts. The foundation started small, with programs in New York and Los Angeles, but it grew quickly, powered by Jasmine's passion and Madonna's support. Within 5 years, they had programs in 15 cities. Within 10 years, they had trained over 3,000 young dancers. Jasmine's career flourished. She became one of the most sought-after choreographers in the entertainment industry, working with artists across all genres. She choreographed for Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, and Ariana Grande. She won an MTV Video Music Award for choreography and was nominated for an Emmy. But she never forgot the promise she made on that Times Square street corner. Every Saturday, Jasmine would visit Times Square, watching the street performers, looking for that spark of extraordinary talent. When she found it, she knew exactly what to do, because Madonna had shown her. Over the years, she discovered dozens of dancers performing on street corners, in subway stations, at community centers. She provided scholarships, mentorship, and opportunities. Many of them went on to professional careers. Several became instructors at the Street Dreams Foundation, teaching the next generation. The video of Madonna's impromptu street performance with teenage Jasmine, captured on dozens of tourist phones and pieced together, became one of the most watched dance videos online. It had been viewed over 50 million times, inspiring countless young dancers around the world. But the real impact wasn't measured in views or viral moments. It was measured in changed lives. Kids like Jasmine, who discovered that talent and determination could overcome circumstance, that one moment of recognition could open doors, that dreams didn't have expiration dates. Today, Jasmine Rodriguez is 35 years old and runs one of the most successful choreography companies in the entertainment industry. The Street Dreams Dance Foundation has trained over 10,000 young dancers and operates programs in 30 cities across the United States. She still keeps in touch with Madonna, who has remained a mentor and friend. They meet for lunch several times a year, and Madonna still gives her notes on choreography, still challenges her to think bigger, still reminds her to own her space. But the most important thing Madonna gave Jasmine wasn't fame or career success. It was the understanding that true talent isn't defined by circumstances, that the most important performances don't always happen on grand stages, and that recognizing someone's potential can literally change the trajectory of their entire life. Every year on August 23rd, Jasmine returns to the same spot in Times Square where Madonna found her. She sets up a boombox, just like she did as a 14-year-old, and she dances. Crowds gather, phones come out, and tourists wonder who this incredible dancer is. Sometimes young dancers approach her afterward, asking for advice. She always tells them the same thing Madonna told her: own your space, own your movement, dance like you know you belong on that stage. And then she tells them about scholarships, about the foundation, about opportunities, because she made a promise on a street corner 20 years ago, and Jasmine Rodriguez always keeps her promises. If this story of how one moment of recognition can change everything inspired you, hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more stories about talent, determination, and the power of mentorship. Share this with someone who needs to remember that their dreams matter, regardless of their circumstances, and let us know in the comments, what talent have you seen on the street that deserves to be recognized? Because sometimes the most important thing we can do isn't performing for millions. It's stopping to see the extraordinary in the ordinary, the potential in the overlooked, and the future stars dancing on street corners.